A viewer question was, can my employer, large employer, well over 20 people, can my employer make me go to Medicare? The answer is no. They cannot make you go to Medicare. They can't entice you to go to Medicare. They're offloading the risk to the federal government, so that's a no-no. Now, can they have lunch and learns? Can they introduce agents to teach you about Medicare? Of course they can. Maybe it's your idea to leave their work insurance and go to Medicare. Sometimes it's extremely a valid point. I just had an email yesterday from somebody who's paying about $500 a month. She's solo, so she could certainly just leave the group plan. There's no one else, dependent on her for her coverage at work, so therefore she can just make her own decisions by herself. So $500 a month is a price point where we would say, definitely look at Medicare, because she probably can get better coverage with Medicare than what she's paying the $500 through her paycheck. So that's important to pay attention to too. Now let's say she came to us and said, hey, I'm paying $50 every 2 weeks out of my paycheck to have coverage. What do you think? We would say absolutely not. Just stay with your group plan until you die, till you're going to retire in a couple of years. Now, that's going to be up to you to decide. So again, being educated about how much it costs, what kind of coverage can you get, what's the timing, can you leave your plan? I was talking the other day about, can you leave any single day of the month that you want? Typically not. Some plans are going to only allow you some, and I say plans, I'm talking about the employer plan. Sometimes the employer is going to set the rules with the insurance company that just says, hey, you can only leave at the enrollment time for us, or they're going to say you can do it anytime, 12 months out of the year. Everybody gets to leave when they become Medicare eligible. That's more of a life event, okay? But the other situations are, are they willing to allow that, and does their plan paperwork allow that? Okay, so you're going to look at cost first. You're going to look at coverage. Maybe you're working and it's not super expensive, but maybe your coverage is causing you issues. Maybe there's a network restriction. Maybe there's a doctor you want to see that your work insurance doesn't allow you to go to. And if you go to Medicare, you can go there, right? So you can see, as always, there's just nothing straight yes or no with Medicare. It's an analysis. And I'm going to suggest working with an agent. This is the stuff we work with people all the time to do, just to figure out, what do you need to do? A starting point you can use if you'd like to is doineedmedicare.com. That's our form. That just kind of says, do you need Medicare? In this case, it's going to be, no, I'm still working, but then we're going to point out like, hey, look at your costs, look at your coverage and all that kind of stuff. So those are the things you want to look at. And then again, pay attention to, is anybody else need you to stay employed and stay on that work insurance for them to have coverage? Maybe your spouse is 62. Maybe you have a 24-year-old on the plan, things like that. Don't forget that if you leave the plan, they're going to have to get coverage. So that increases your cost. So all of those things are things to pay